Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Hegfreeze here. Today I am bringing you 4 fresh and really cool entitled parent stories. Keywords include car crash, thief kid, hit and run, and basketball. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the stories. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why entitled parent ruins my car. I have previously written about my metallic blue 2016 Dodge Challenger Hellcat, which I lovingly named Nikki. Well, I feel it's time I tell how I lost Nikki forever. About a week before Christmas last year, I went to visit my mom in Georgia. I had just moved to North Carolina in late July and had to beg my boss to let me have 1 week's vacation time to visit my family. I felt pretty lucky. It was the holidays and I wanted to get something nice for my mom. The day that I arrived in Georgia, a Monday, I had spent most of the day sleeping after a long overnight drive down and went shopping that evening, around 6 p.m. My mom lives in a residential subdivision with a feeder 2-lane road leading to a 4-way highway. Along the highway, there are several intersections with traffic lights and a few without traffic lights. The streets without traffic lights all have stop signs at the end of the street so that people from the other neighborhoods don't drive onto the highway without being reminded to stop. I had driven down another side street to get onto the main highway, but as it was rush hour traffic, I was stuck moving slowly in the left-hand lane of the 4-lane highway. I remember distinctly seeing entitled parent, let's call her June, sitting at the stop sign to one of the side streets. June was driving a metallic gray Dodge Ram pickup truck. At that intersection there was a concrete median, but it split to allow traffic from June's direction to merge into my lane. Traffic on my side of the street was stopped at the red light and I was sitting about 4 cars back from the red light behind the white F-150 King Ranch pickup truck. I had the feeling that June would drive through the split in the median as soon as my light turned green and traffic began moving, but I hoped I was wrong. I wasn't. When the light turned green, the 4 cars in front of me, including the pickup truck, went forward. I started to move forward too. Then, I heard the gunning of an engine as I was rolling forward and looked left to see June gunning her Dodge Ram directly towards me and Nikki. Crap, I thought. There was no time for me to brake. I literally thought, crap. And the front end of my beautiful Hellcat was smashed in a horrific screeching of metal. I felt my car swing with the momentum of the pickup truck and felt another impact on my right side. The side airbag on the right side of my car deployed and I was screaming until I came to a stop against a curb. I turned off my engine, reached for my phone and dialed 911. While trying to kick open the driver's side door of my precious car, I yelled at the operator that I had been in an accident. The operator had to calm me down because I was storming over to June's pickup truck. I walked up to her passenger side door. June and another woman, let's call her Harley, were in the car together. Both of them had phones out but neither was talking to anyone. "Are you alright?" I asked, as the operator had asked if everyone was okay. Harley said she was feeling sore and hurt. I relayed this to the operator and turned to face Nikki. What I saw still hurts me to remember. Nikki was resting against a pearl white Honda Accord and the curb of the right lane of traffic. The force of June's Dodge Ram had slammed my Nikki into the Honda Accord, which had then knocked into a municipal street light. The Honda Accord had a deployed driver's side airbag and extensive front end damage. Nikki's front end was swayed over by at least a 30-degree angle, the windshield had shattered and the front end was extensively damaged. The right side wheel had struck the curb, the right front tire had popped and the axle was crooked. My car was totaled. I had gotten speechless because the 911 operator was asking if I was okay. I don't remember what I said. I just remember that I was ready to kill this woman, but I went to make sure the Honda Accord driver was okay. She was a middle-aged woman and she was very shaken up as her vehicle, like mine, was heavily damaged and would not move. I reported this to the 911 operator and told the Honda driver, let's call her Diana, that the police and ambulance were on the way. I went back to Nikki, ignoring Harley and June as they were still inside the Dodge Ram. I had been in accidents before and knew that I needed license, proof of insurance and registration on hand. As I searched through my car, I heard the woman say, "Excuse me," from my open driver's side door. I turned around and saw June, a stout, scowling woman standing behind me. Naturally, I asked again if she was okay. "June, do you know when the ambulance and police will be here? I have to pick up my son from daycare." Me, "I'll call the police again." I called the police again. The 911 operator said the nearest dispatch was about 5 minutes away, but that an ambulance will be there shortly. Even while I was on the phone with the operator, an ambulance pulled up. I told the ambulance crew that I felt okay, except for some soreness in my back, but Harley and Diana had complained of injuries. June exited her truck from the driver's side and I heard her tell the ambulance crew, "Oh no, we're both fine, she's fine." I shrugged at the comment and waited for the police while the ambulance crew checked on Diana in the white Honda. They spent more time with her. While Diana got checked out, June walked up to me and said, "Hey, can I get your insurance information?" Me, "Sure." We exchanged insurance information and I began taking photos of our cars for filling an online insurance claim. I knew my Nikki would be towed to a tow yard and wanted her to spend as few days as possible there. I also grabbed anything from my car that I could carry with me, as my mom's house was within reasonable walking distance. June, "Thanks. It just really sucks to have this happen. I just bought this car 2 months ago, brand new, and I really need to get to pick up my son." At this point, neither June nor I said sorry. I wasn't going to, because the accident wasn't my fault. I had experience working in insurance and auto repair to know how this would go down. Me, "That sucks. I hope Diana and Harley are okay." June laughed. "Harley's just overacting. She'll be fine. Do you think it would be okay for me to leave? I really need to get my son and it's already late." The ambulance crew was still with Diana. I offered to call 911 and check on the police arrival again. While I was on the phone with the operator, 2 of the sheriff's department and 2 tow trucks pulled up. One for my Nikki and one for Diana's white Honda. June said, "I don't need a tow truck. I can drive just fine." I was livid by this point. I think that if the police weren't on scene at this time, I would have assaulted June. She still hadn't apologized or asked how I was doing or even spoken to Diana. I counted to 10, took a deep breath and said, "I think the tow trucks are here for my car and the Honda. We can't drive our cars." While the deputies from one sheriff's car diverted traffic, the deputies from the other sheriff's car began taking the report. They spoke with June first, then the deputies came up to me. "Sir," said Deputy 1, "Miss June over there wants to leave the scene. She's real anxious to pick up her son. I can take your statement, but if she leaves the scene, it won't mean anything and I won't have to file a report. Make her stay." The deputies told June and Harley that they would have to stay. Diana was loaded into a stretcher to go to the nearest hospital, but the deputies managed to take her statement before the ambulance left. Then I gave my statement. After the deputies put together the police report, they called June and I together in the middle of the street. By this time, Diana's Honda had been towed away and my Hellcat was being loaded onto the other tow truck. The driver had to be careful because of the bent front axle. Deputy 1, "Alright, so I filed our official report and Miss June, you're going to be at fault for failure to properly yield at a stop sign." June screeched, "It's my fault? But he was on his cell phone. I saw he was on his cell phone." Me, "If you weren't so busy looking in my car, maybe you'd have seen the stop sign." Deputy 2 stepped between us and made June and Harley leave. The deputies actually gave me a ride back home. After the accident, I gave recorded statements and photos of the scene of the accident to June's insurance and my insurance. June's insurance found her responsible for the accident and offered an injury settlement for the lost time and inconvenience. I took the injury settlement but never signed any legally binding documents stating that I wouldn't sue June for punitive damages. My insurance totaled out my car and I'm filing paperwork today to sue June for the loss of my beautiful Nikki. How dare I not let entitled kids steal from me? So, for backstory, I ride the bus home from school, which takes almost half an hour. Staying that long with like 30 strangers does make you have a bad day. This one time though, it was just the most painful and annoying ride. Cast: L, random lady; EK, entitled kid; EM, entitled mom; me, yours truly. So, I was just sitting there waiting for my destination, listening to music, when all of a sudden a lady who looked in her 30s, entitled mother, and a boy who looked about 13, entitled kid, walked in. EM keeps kissing and hugging EK, so that's how I knew they were mother and son. I didn't really mind it at first. About 10 minutes pass. I feel someone touching my back, but I assumed someone was squeezing past me. A few moments later, a person taps my shoulder. I take my headphones off. L, someone is trying to steal from you. She kinda whispered, but I heard it, since the bus was pretty quiet. I turn around to see EK ruffling through my bag. Me, excuse me, can you not search through my things? Thank you. Now, EM looks at me and says, EM, oh, don't worry, he's just a kid. Me, but can you please tell him to not take my things? EM, what? I literally flinch. She wasn't the mother I talked to 0.5 seconds ago. EM, Are you accusing EK of theft? Me, no, I was just… EK, I want that toy in the bag! He points at my ruler. It was the ruler that could bend. Now, honestly, I would have just gave him that ruler for EM to shut up. EM, give it to him as a punishment. Do you know what it's like to be a single mother and just have you telling me my son is a thief? Other passengers were staring at EM. EM kept yelling, but I wasn't really listening to her anymore as I was in tears. I'm not sure why, but at that moment I was blaming myself. Yeah, I'm lame. Eventually, she and EK are taken off the bus. I'm not sure what happened next, but I do know EK took absolutely nothing out of my bag, which I'm super grateful for. Entitled parent acts like a jerk at a basketball game. Backstory: I am in my school's basketball team and I just finished my game and was cheering for the girls. Now, there was this mom who generally should have had some sweet karma. She looked 40 and like the general psycho soccer mom, but in basketball. This jerk was screaming at the refs, mumbling bad things about them. I think I heard a slight insult to our team, yelling, "Oh, come on referees," and overall just being a B. What was even more annoying is that she was on the bleachers where the majority of our school's parents and supporters were, so she was setting a lot of people off. At one point, she did the most dumbest thing ever. When the opponents fouled one of the girls, she said, "Great job!" My mom nearly punched her, but she held her temper, walked out to the car and waited for the game to finish. I would have liked a fist to the EM, but oh no, kinda dumb. Entitled mother gets mad at me for denying her BMW even though she hit me with it. Me, moi, EM, entitled mother, friend. So this happened in the summer of last year and I was heading to the pool with some of my friends. In hindsight, I was sort of at fault here because I didn't look both ways, I only looked one way. As I was crossing the street to get to the pool, I hear a loud screech, then I felt a whole lot of pain in my side. I look up to see a white BMW in the street, and inside is your classic entitled mother. 4 infinity scarves, resting bee face, Karen haircut, the whole shebang. She gets out and says, "What the hell?" and she goes to assess the damage to her car. At this point my friend had helped me up. I was having trouble walking and had a real bad headache, so I wasn't doing too good. She walks up to me and says, "Look what you did to my freaking car." The car had a small dent in the hood. My friend at this point says, "You hit him with a freaking car and you're mad because there's a dent?" At this point the cops were called. When EM discovered the cops were called, she ran off. We didn't find her. Injuries weren't too bad. Fractured wrist and a broken thumb. Alright guys, that was everything I had for today. I will be back tomorrow with more fresh stories. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you have enjoyed the video and subscribe. Have a nice day.